What's up, everyone? Today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Gouki's. Now, Gouki's is a very it's a fun deck that plays kind of like Marine Sys in a way, more or less. In the fact that you summon a unaffected boss monster and then just use cards around it to protect it, and then just finish it on your second turn. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. First, I run 3 Gouki Suprex. Suprex, when it is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Gouki monster from your hand, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Gouki card from your deck to your hand. Now, all the Goukis have that secondary effect too when they are sent from the field to the graveyard to add a Gouki monster from your, or not Gouki monster, a Gouki card from your deck to your hand. So it makes anything Gouki searchable. And Suprex is definitely the one you want to always see first, because basically you use that, summon another Gouki from your hand, go into a Soul Day, and then basically just get your plays started from there. Next, I run 3 Headbat. Headbat's pretty cool. It can special summon itself from the hand, although the downside with it does have some restrictions to that. First, you must control a Gouki monster. Then you must discard a Gouki monster from your hand to special summon it. So basically, you have to have a Gouki monster in your hand and on the field in order to activate its effects. Or you can also just use the effect of Suprex to special it from the hand anyways. But that effect really isn't all that hard to do, considering, like I said, whenever Gouki monsters in the field, you can add a Gouki card. So let's say, for example, open Suprex and another Gouki monster. I just use Suprex, special summon that other Gouki monster, link those two into the Soul Day, use the Suprex and the other Gouki monster to add 2 Gouki monsters, one of them being Headbat. Then I can add another Gouki monster off the Soul Day, and then just discard that for the Headbat. Like a Twist Cobra, for example. Now, the rest of the Goukis don't really have that great on-field effects. Like, Twist Cobra literally distributes a Gouki monster to have a Gouki monster gain attack equal to the original attack of the attributed monster. So it's just an attack boost. You mainly just use it for the secondary effect. Just keep getting cards into your hand and cards into your field. Also run the 1 Claw, 1 Guts, and 1 Octo Stretch. Now, the Guts and Octo Stretch I run more so for the Soul Day secondary effect. And Iron Claw is more or less just there to be another Gouki monster in name, and it can also be used off of the secondary effect of Soul Day. Also run 3 Fire Flint Lady. Fire Flint Lady, whenever you control a warrior monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's more or less just a free summon. Additionally, you can banish this card from your graveyard, or you can send this card from your field to the graveyard. Special summon 1 level 4 lower warrior monster from your hand. So that could be also really good if you just want to get a Gouki monster from the hand to the field. Most oftentimes, you just want it for that free summon. Kind of like the 3 Parallel Exceed you run. Parallel Exceed, again, just another free summon. Now, unfortunately, something like a Soul Day and the Gouki Parallel Ogre, they require warrior monsters, but luckily I have something in the extra that kind of bridges that. And also you can use Exceed for rank 4 plays too. Next, I run 2 Gouki Rematch. Gouki Rematch allows you to special summon 2 Gouki monsters with different levels in your graveyard. Well, in defense position, but. So it's like a double Monster Reborn, which is definitely really good, and considering it is searchable in Archetype. I only run 2 of it because you really only need 2. Because you're going to be searching it before you activate any desires or anything like that. I also run the 1 Living Fossil and the 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade. Living Fossil is kind of like a Monster Reborn. I more or less run Living Fossil and Phoenix Blade for the Soul Day secondary effect. You could get away with maybe just running 1 of these, but I mainly run 2 because let's say, because I do run 2 Pot Desires, and let's say I have to use Desires before the secondary Soul Day effect. If I banish 1 of them, then it's not looking good. There's also the off chance that I may draw it, which if you draw it, then your plays are going to be very, very limited because you do not want to see these in your hand. Also run 2 Double Summon. Double Summon works really well in this deck, and I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's a neg 1. Which, to be honest, I never really believed in negging or plussing. It's all about the board you make. That's just always been my point of view. And in the case of Goukis, a lot of times you're going to be adding Gouki monsters from deck to your hand off of the Gouki effects. But you don't really have any Goukis outside of Headbat that can special summon themselves from the hand, and they'll just end up sitting in your hand. If we have double summon, then we can also summon them again. We get an additional summon, so we can use that extra monster to make a stronger Apollosa, or go into the Parallel Ogre. So, definitely a card that really helps out in this deck. Also run the 1 World Legacy Succession and the 1 Monster Born. With this deck, having bodies on the field is definitely really good because it allows you to get the most ideal hand with it. Or not the ideal hand, the ideal board. Also run the one Rhoda. It's a warrior based deck. Why would you not run Rhoda? Also run 1-for-1. We do run some level 1s, mainly the 3 Fire Flint Lady, as well as the Octo Stretch and Gouki Guts. Also run 1 Avarice. You get monsters into the grave pretty easy, but only want to run 1 because you do not want to see 2 in your opening hand. That does not look good. Also run 1 Call by the Grave to help with hand traps. And lastly, I run 3 Infinite Impermanents. Now for the extra deck. I run the 1 Gouki Powerload Ogre. The Powerload Ogre is really good. It gains attack equal to the combined link rating of all link monsters you currently control times 200. And this link summon card is unaffected by other card effects. So, Droplet, nope. Imperm, doesn't work. Raigeki, just laughs. So it's kind of like, this is like what I said when it plays in like Marine Sus. Marine Sus, you put up the, I believe it was the Aqua Argonaut and make it unaffected. So it's just a big beat stick that you just can't do anything about unless you attack over it. And most oftentimes, I'm going to pair it with the Apollousa. Because getting into a Powerload Ogre and at the very least a 3 negate Apollousa, it's actually not too hard. I basically always go into that. I also run the 1 Gouki Jet Ogre. Just a link to the effect. You don't really use it as much. I use it more so for the link arrows and the fact that it's also a Gouki name. Also run 2 Isolde. Definitely want to run this card because if you're not running this, then your deck is not even going to function in the slightest. Isolde, when it's linked, somebody can add a warrior monster from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate its effects or summon it. Makes me kind of wonder why they even have that effect if it's so restricted where you can't even do anything with it. But either way, the secondary effect is probably much better in my opinion. Basically, you can send any number of equipped cards from your deck to graveyard, special summon a warrior monster who has the same level as the number of equipped spells sent to the graveyard. Since we control 2, we can do up to 2. Also run the 1 Salamangreat Almiraj. In the instance where we only open 1 Gouki monster, this will at least get it into the graveyard so then we can grab a Gouki monster from our deck, or Gouki card from deck to hand. Depending on our hand, that might just turn a unplayable hand into a playable hand. Also run 1 Ferocious Flame Swordsman. Powerload Ogre requires warrior monsters. And let's say you got something like Almiraj or something on the field that's not warrior. That we essentially use Ferocious Flame Swordsman as sort of like a bridge to turn those non-warriors into warriors and then go into Powerload Ogre. Also run the 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, and as you probably like to guess, an Access Code Talker. Now for the XEs, I run 1 Dagaris and 1 Abyss Dweller. Making them doesn't come up too often because there's only very few ways you can make them. The only ways you can make them off of Suprex and Parallel XE. And against hero limits, Abyss Dweller would probably be better than Apollousa. Now next, in the side, I'd probably run something like Super Poly, so that's why I have these 3 here. And if you don't want to run Super Poly, then just think of these as 3 flex spots because you can really play anything else. Play more of the Gouki cards, you can play Asa. To be honest, you don't really use much of your extract. I thought about putting Prosperity in, but I like the drawing much more so than the excavating. That's it for my Goukis. What do you think about Goukis? Think it's a pretty cool deck? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.